Ron Say, Steve Garvey, and Dusty Baker. All four of those hit 30 home runs or more this year. Young Glenn Burke for Rick Mundy in center, Steve Yeager, and Tommy John the battery. Lopes settles in as Carlton, 23 wins, 10 losses on the year, goes to work. And the first pitch fouled out of play. So Lopes and the Dodgers couldn't wait for it to get going. He goes after the first serve.
Well, you heard Tommy Lasorda, and he just kind of reiterated the same phrase that we made up here on the opening. They want to get going. The pitchers want to pitch. They want to play.
1 ball, 1 strike. There are the numbers on Steve Carlton, finishing nearly half of his 36 starts. Foul back, and it's 1-2. Well, Don, every major league ball player has worked in adverse elements and have had to play in the rain, and certainly in much worse conditions than this. And we just hope that it does not rain harder.
Right here, one of the great advantages, not only here at the Vet, but also all over baseball, that has the artificial turf. The last rain out here has been August 6th of 1975, so they get them in.
Count remains 2-2 on Davy Lopes. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures. Lined right to the second baseman. Ted Sizemore in the right place to capture Lopes' line shot. Without the express consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Bill Russell. He hit that base hit right through the legs of Garber in the 9th inning to win it for the Dodgers yesterday. We're going to be seeing 2 different kinds of pitchers tonight. Carlton, a power pitcher. He'll try to throw the fastball by, and he's got that wicked hook. There it was. And is not afraid to pitch high on occasion, whereas Tommy John must keep the ball low. Don will analyze the two and their techniques during the course of the game. 2 balls and a strike to Russell. He hit .278 on the year. 3-1.
The thing where you might notice a little difference on the artificial turf when you do have rain, of course, on the infield, you will not notice any difference. On the outfield, you might get the ball to skid on you. It'll be a little slippery.
Ball hit to left field. That's the Bull, Greg Lazinski. 2 away. And after that tough play yesterday, you can see Greg Lazinski right up on the balls of his feet on anything hit his direction. 2 gone to Reggie Smith, the switch-hitting right fielder of the Dodgers, who finished at .307. Carlton going to the breaking ball. 1-0. Hit to right. Make McBride. Dodgers are out in order in the first inning, to the delight of Philadelphia fans. The Bills come up, no score. The Philadelphia Phillies, champions of the East, best batting average as a team of any National League club. Make McBride leads it off. Great purchase by the Phils when they acquired him by trade from St. Louis. And the scrappy Larry Boa, the power guys, Schmidt and Lazinski, both nearly hit 40 home runs. And Hebner batting left against the left-handed pitcher John. He did not start on Monday night. Maddox in center, McCarver, the veteran behind the plate, Sizemore at second, and Carlton, a good hitter himself, the pitcher. And how about Tommy John, Don?
Tommy John is the sinker slider type pitcher, or curve slider slurve. It's kind of in between the curve and the slider. Tommy is not going to overpower you whatsoever. Every now and then, why, he might sneak a fastball by you. He's got to have his good control. He's going to be nipping at all the corners, on the inside, the outside. He'll set you up. He's got that good curve ball that he can bring down and into the right-hand hitters like Whitey Ford used to do. But his secret is control, and he must keep the ball down.
The Phillies knocked John out of the opener. You know that these Philly fans are not enamored of the umpires going into this game. Bake McBride. Great year for the Philadelphia outfielder, coming back from knee problems last year in St. Louis. Once ran a 9.8 in college. Phillies trying to muster some offense. McBride had his 14-game hitting streak snapped yesterday. 12 regular season and the first 2 playoff games.
We'll look at Tommy John early, and you watch his control. You can just set from our center field camera when we have it. You can watch Steve Yeager. You can look at the glove. You can see for yourself. Sitting at home in your viewing audience, you can see whether he's got the good control.
Bounces that curveball, and it's 2-1. But if John is on, when he's missing, he will be missing low.
He's got to miss low. He misses high, and he's in all kinds of trouble.
That's Davy Lopes, and one away. Now an easy hopper to the second baseman. Lopes gets McBride, brings up shortstop Larry Boa. Boa, switch hitter. Hit .273 right-handed this year, .283 left-handed. Pretty consistent from both sides.
Here's a scrappy little guy, Dick. They just think that he's really come into his own. He can do all kinds of things to beat you.
Light rain continues to fall, and we'll know if it's getting bad by the dirt cutout areas around the bases and the mound and home plate. So far, so good.
It appears that it is even lightening up just a little bit, but it is still coming down.
2-1. Boa taking all the way.
I've got to believe with the National League president Chub Feeney here in town, and they started in this, they are going to finish it sometime tonight.
High hopper. Say is just tall enough and strong enough to get Boa. Good play by the third baseman of the Dodgers.
Ron Say, he got as high as he could go. If that's how high a penguin jumps, that's what they call him. That's how high Say went. And then he got the grip to throw just in time to get him on a close play.
2 outs in the Philly first inning as Dodger lefty Tommy John looks into Mike Schmidt. He has only 1 hit in the series thus far.
He's got to be a key, Dick. As you mentioned, the 1 hit just in 13 times at bat. He's got to get a hot batter. Philadelphia could be in trouble.
His 1 hit was a money hit, was the winning run in the first game out in Los Angeles. Strike 2. What was his comment after the loss yesterday?
Well, Mike Schmidt said in today's paper, he said, if we cannot beat Tommy John at home, we do not deserve to be in the World Series. Just that simple.
2-strike pitch. That's that breaking ball low and in. Tried to get Schmidt to go after a bad ball.
He'll drop it in on the knees, and then Tommy's got good control. He'll bring it from the outside in, try to nip that outside corner or break it down in at the knees and ankles of the right-hand hitter.
Chop to third. In time. So both sides retired in order, and after 1 inning in wet Philadelphia, the Dodgers nothing and the Phils nothing. Yesterday, over 63,719 to be exact, the second largest in Philadelphia history, second only to the All-Star game last year. Ron Say leads off the Dodger second inning. Say making a good play in the bottom of the first inning, and with the wetness of the carpet, any play adds a little toughness tonight for both sides. Carlton appears to be throwing more breaking balls in the early going than is Peter.
Even over at Dodger Stadium, he threw an awful lot of breaking balls, and he got in trouble in the late innings when he did finally have to come out of the game, throwing straight up in the air, very erect.
Ball's behind, 3-0.
Now he's got to remember one pitch that he threw Ron Say at Dodger Stadium.
3-1.
Dick, we should comment. We talk about the infield at the offset being fine, but at the continual drizzle falling on it, it can get a little treacherous too.
Foul back into the press facilities behind home plate. It's 3-2.
Yesterday in that 9th inning, you saw the ball hit off of the knee of Schmidt, and especially on a night like this on the artificial turf, a ball hitting, it'll really skid on you.
He misses, and that's the first base runner of the game as Carlton walks Ron Say. That leadoff walk one of the no-nos in the game of baseball, brings up Steve Garvey. Garvey hitting just under 300 on the year. As Tom Lasorda pointed out, 33 home runs and 115 RBIs to lead the club. High to shallow center. It's Gary Maddox. One away. Now, quite in contrast, the two pitchers. The 4 outs with Carlton on the mound have been in the air. The 3 outs with John were all on the ground.
You're going to see a lot of balls hit in the air off of Carlton because he'll keep that fastball up a little bit. He has got an overpowering fastball when he is right. And, of course, the curveball, that overhand curveball, and you see a lot of hitters, they'll pop those in the air, too. That ball way up in the air, noticing at the last moment, kind of drifted back towards center. The breeze blowing from the right field foul line to the left field foul line.
Yeah, you see the first move by Carlton to first base, picked off 21 this year, and was called for a balk in game 1. Ooh, good stop by McCarver. The veteran receiver down to throw a Bernie Parrott on that one. Block it off. Say it first. We're in the top of the second inning. No score. Rain continues to fall. Some wet spots now on the warning track. Carlton keeping an eye on Say. 2-0. Hit well to left field. Lazinski going back. And Baker will touch them all. The Dodgers lead 2-0.
You could just about hear a pin drop here at Veterans Stadium right now. A few scatterings of the Dodger wives, and you see the greeting that he gets at the Dodger dugout. Ron Say, of course, at first base. That ball hit very well. Watch this reaction.
They can be cheerleaders, too. The batter is Glenn Burke. First pitch was a strike, and he fouls off that delivery from Carlton. It's 0-2 to Burke. Young man, 24 years of age, from Berkeley, California. Went to the University of Nevada, Reno on a basketball scholarship.
Carlton not sharp so far tonight, Dick, and has been wild high.
High again, and it's 2-2.
There you see the case that we talked about before in Los Angeles, not bending that back, not following through, releasing that ball high, and just spinning it up there.
Mike Schmidt gets the speedy Burke, and there's 2 away. Schmidt, a superb defensive player. Steve Yeager, the Dodger catcher.
A lot of people talk about pitchers that have great arms, that throw hard, and their legs and things like that, but they never realize that one of the strongest assets that a power pitcher can have is that lower back. And when you don't use it, that's what happens. You start getting pitches up.
Wicked hook just missed inside. Yeager enjoyed his best year in home runs. 16 and RBIs. 55.
From that center field camera shot, you talk about wrapping it. He comes back, he's got that wrist really tucked in. Watch that left wrist of Steve Carlton if we get a chance. On the curveball. That was not the curveball, naturally. But the way he's been going, he'll throw one pretty soon.
2-1 pitch. Good location.
That's a tough pitch. Late Charlie Dressen used to call that the deep cut and curve.
Old Uncle Charlie. And Carlton has his first strikeout, but the Dodgers have their first hit, and it's a home run by Dusty Baker. And after an inning and a half, LA 2, the Phils nothing. Dusty Baker. The Dodgers have scored 20 runs in this championship series, and Baker has driven in 8 of them. And it's 2-0 Los Angeles as the Phils come up in the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Lazinski, Hebner, and Maddox for Philadelphia. The Bull is the only Philadelphia player to hit safely in the first 3 games, 1 in each. Now John with the comfort of an early 2-0 lead. Lazinski, a high school football star. How would you like to try to knock those legs out from beneath him?
Boy, he is put together. He's got that short, compact stroke. It reminds me of Harmon Killebrew.
He's learned he doesn't have to overswing with all that strength. He falls behind 1 and 2. Dusty Baker has set a new National League Championship Series record with his 8 RBIs. Henry Aaron had 7. He did it in 3 games in the '69 series. And Lazinski. There's that sinker that looks good enough when it's on its way, but isn't a good hitting pitch when it arrives at home plate. John has his first strikeout as you take the bird's eye view from our creepy peepee way out there in center field. Richie Hebner.
Little bit of a surprise tonight by Danny Ozark that he started Hebner and not Davy Johnson, who he started in that opening game. He got left-hander to left-hander.
And Hebner delivers. The Phillies have their first hit. Well, some of the sounds will be muffled because the fans under the various rain gear can't free their hands, but you can bet if the Phils get any kind of a rally, they could care less about the rain. Jerry Maddox, 1 out. 2-0 Dodgers here in the second. Base hit. Fast fielding by Glenn Burke. And the Phils have the tying run on in the form of Maddox at first base.
Well, here's a case where Tommy John has been around long enough, and we've commented before that when your club can get you some runs, if you can go back in that next half inning and shut the opposition out to get right back at bat again, at such a psychological edge that is just unbelievable. Tommy John right now, of course, he's got the 1 out. He's still got the double play in order, and he's got the left-handed hitting catcher Tim McCarver there, so he can still get out of the trouble.
McCarver, who catches all of Steve Carlton's games, and with spot duty, hit a solid .320 this year. He'll be 36 next month. He's going for a 3-run home run with that cut. First broke in with the St. Louis Cardinals as a highly heralded receiver way back 1960. The Dodger infield looking for the double play. Say at third. Russell squeezed towards second, with Lopes trying to take a little of the hole away at second base, and deep at first Garvey. He got him. Second strikeout for John. Brings up second baseman Ted Sizemore.
Well, there was that good sinker just down and in on McCarver. He challenged him twice with 2 sinkers inside. Timmy couldn't get a piece of it.
With with Hebner at second, Maddox at first, 2 outs. Sizemore tries to keep the inning going.
Tommy John's the type of pitcher that when you go back to the bench after striking out or popping up or grounding out, you say why, and all of a sudden at the end of the day you go 0 for 4 and you're still saying why.
Yeah, they come back there saying, if someone asks, what's he guy say? He hasn't got anything.
That's right.
But he straps an offer on your back.
That's exactly. And he did that a few times with 20 wins this year.
Tough play for John. No play. The bases are loaded. Swinging bunt for Sizemore.
There was only one play, and that might have been to third, but Say had already committed himself, and once John got the ball, you just take it, stick it in your back pocket, and say, I hope I can get Carlton now.
Carlton was 2 for 2 in the opening night game at Dodger Stadium and knocked in a run. He can swing the bat. This year he hit .265. 3 home runs and knocked in 15.
Same as yesterday, bases loaded, and the Philly fans come to their feet, rain or no rain.
Curved him again, and it's 1-1. Carlton with 9 career home runs, 3 of them this year. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Pitch, 2-1. Brought that sinker low and in.
This is where John's got to be standing out there, and he just having a little clubhouse meeting with himself and saying, Tommy, for crying out loud, there's no way that you can lose this man.
Low. 3 and 2 outs. They'll wind him up and let all 3 runners go. Hebner from third, Maddox from second, Sizemore from first, and John a little thought walk.
Tommy John is just going to get back. He is going to try and settle himself as these fans come to their feet one more time. Tommy Lasorda saying, "They're not again, boys."
Got him with ball 4 it appeared. A sinker inside, and John is the happiest of the Dodgers going into the dugout after 2. It's the Dodgers 2, the Phils nothing. And now we're going to our news center in Washington for late headlines with Bob Jameson. Innings of play. A dramatic bottom of the second as the Phils had 3 hits. But Tommy John recorded 3 strikeouts, getting Carlton to end the inning.
I'll tell you, Dick, I'm not too sure whether they're going to have him come out. They're all looking at home plate umpire Bruce Fromming. In that same location, Chubb sitting at the right field side of the Philly dugout. On the left field side of the Dodger dugout, Dodger president Peter O'Malley, he's sitting there, and he is uncovered also, watching what's going on. And right now, he's a happy young president.
I think probably that's true for the fans, too. They don't want it stopped, but on the other hand, if it does get muddy around the mound and home plate, then they're going to be forced to hold play. They did not use any compound, absorbent compound, although the grounds crew has that available. John, not a bad hitter for a pitcher. Count is 1-1.
As you watch Carlton and John kick around on the mound, you can still see a little dust come up. So surprisingly, this very fine drizzle that we have, it has not taken a very big toll on that pitching mound as yet.
Two and 1. Carlton wears his age on his back. Cy Young Award winner, 4 times a 20-game winner. Ripped foul. John flirts with a two-base hit.
A lot of people might wonder, well, if they keep an eye on the mound, where do they look second? Well, secondly, of course, would be where all the work is done at home plate around the batter's box. They'll look around there. But mainly on the mound. If that starts to get a little slippery and you start to see pitchers slipping and sliding, they say, well, there just isn't any way we can continue it.
Schmidt with another chance. And he gets John easily.
Where I've got to believe, Dick, that we're going to be here a while, regardless of what happens. And if there is a rain delay, we've started in the rain, and you could almost bet your house and lot that they would not call a game like this in a deciding factor if the Dodgers were ahead after 5 innings. They're going to wait here until the wee hours of the morning.
We're in the third. Dusty Baker's 2-run homer giving the Dodgers the early lead. Lopes lined to second his first time up. That one bouncing to the screen. Two and 0. High again. Don't want to walk Lopes. He's the top base runner for the Dodgers. And 2-time National League stolen base champion. But he loses him on 4 pitches. It was the leadoff walk in the second that became a run when Baker homered. Now we'll focus on Steve Carlton and his battle with the base runner Davy Lopes. Lopes 47 steals this year, after stealing 77 and 63 the 2 prior seasons to win the National League Championship, against Carlton, who has picked off 21 men. No complaint by either Lopes or first base coach Jim Gilliam on that one. And on the heavy track, although once you get off that sliding area, the dirt area, it shouldn't be a big factor. It may be that Lopes will not seriously want to run.
And they've got that old left-hander's manual, look to home and throw to first, look to first and throw to home. Wonder who made that. That's one of the great copyrights of all time.
Bill Russell takes ball 1. Well, Maury Will certainly took advantage of that. He was one of the first to really decry that as one of the major things to look for with a left-hander. If he's looking at you, that's the time to steal, because he's probably going home. Could be 2. Boa to Sizemore to Hebner. That's it for the Dodgers in the 3rd inning. To the middle of the 3rd, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers 2, the Philadelphia Phillies nothing. Get the Kansas City Royals and New York Yankees, and the final game of the American League playoffs, the winner to the World Series. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern time here on NBC. Bake McBride grounded out first trip. John pitching out of trouble in the second, leads 2-0. He got him. It's 1-1. John has been successful with the inside sinker to the left-handed batters. Say gets McBride. Ron Say with his 3rd assist already. Larry Boa, he hit that high chopper to the Penguin in the 1st inning that Say leaped high to stab and throw him out. Lopes. That was a tough chance, a lot tougher than it looked. That ball was skidding on Davy Lopes.
It really was, and that's what we've talked about before. As that turf starts to get a little wet, that ball will really scoot on you.
The second hop, they say, is the tough one on the carpet.
It'll play tricks, and you say to yourself, I see it, but all of a sudden that ball is just chewing you alive.
Mike Schmidt, 1 for 14 in the series. He grounded to third his first trip. The outfield backs up and plays him almost straight away. Schmidt, what a model of consistency in home runs. The last 4 years, Mike Schmidt has hit 36, 38, 38, and 38 again this year.
When you talk about the outfielders backing up, Dick, I think that really holds true for the infielders as well, because everybody on the artificial turf, they usually play a little bit deeper to cut the ball off so it doesn't go in the gaps on you.
1-1.
The infield can afford to play a little bit deeper because the ball is going to get to you quicker. Of course, you've got to realize that you're going to have a longer throw than what you normally would on grass.
That's Steve Garvey with his first chance, and Tommy John has another 1-2-3 inning, all on ground balls. We've completed 3 in rainy Philadelphia, where the Dodgers lead it 2-0. Dodgers, it'll be Reggie Smith, then Ron Cey, and Steve Garvey. Third base coach Preston Gomez of the Dodgers pointing up to the press area. Apparently a light, or someone has a light bothering the infielders. Oh, it's the television light. That's not ours. Of course, it's being televised by the 2 local clubs, too, back to their home base. Reggie Smith, much like the man hitting third for Philadelphia, hungry for a base hit. Schmidt has only 1 hit, and Smith has just 1 in this series. Had a little trouble with the Phillies during the regular season, too. It's raining now as hard as it has the entire game, as you can see against that backdrop.
It's going to have to rain awful hard. They haven't put that tarp out there.
Base hit. Once it eluded the pitcher Carlton, Smith had himself a single.
As you watch Carlton on that last pitch, you can watch his follow through. Look at him wrap that curve to start with, if you could pick that up. Now right straight and recoiling, and then had no chance. His weight was moving back. He had no chance to come forward to take that little skip hop to get into position to make the play.
Leadoff hit by Smith brings up Cey. Ron walked to lead off the second inning and then scored on Baker's second playoff series home run.
You'll see a lot of the power pitchers and good curveball pitchers throw against that stiff front leg.
2 strikes, both on the curveball.
But you've got to be very careful that you don't get into a position and get into a habit of recoiling, as Steve did on that last slow motion pitch that we saw on the base hit to Smith.
Could be 2. Boa, Sizemore, Hebner, double play. Nicely turned to second for the Philly infield.
This is a prescription right from the drugstore. Nice little 2-hopper right to Boa, to Teddy Sizemore, turns it over easily, and they double up Cey with ease. Look at that. 2 little hops, nice little, just like you learn in spring training. Just bang, bang, and it's all over.
Well, that reminds me of that play today in Kansas City where Nettles in the second inning went head on with Frank White and appeared to hit him with his head. He had a headache and yet came out and won the game. Actually, it was his RBI single that made it 5-4 as the Yanks went on to a 6-4 win. Are they playing aggressively in that series?
They are at that. I'll tell you, they both had to check the fillings, I think, after the game was over. They might have lost them around second base.
Garvey pounds it foul. Well, Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek are in Kansas City tomorrow night for all the marbles in the American League at 8 o'clock. Will it be the Yankees or the Royals? You'll see it here on NBC. Good live tailing fastball by Carlton. It's 1-2 to Garvey.
Jim Murray, the columnist for the Los Angeles Times, had the greatest line on Luzinski, and I just hope he's up there a while because it's not going to be
That's trouble. Smith. He's got a great arm, and Lazinski respects it. A long single by Greg Lazinski.
The first time he struck him out on a low away sinker. This time, Lazinski just looking for it out there. It was up just a little bit if you're a sinker ball pitcher, and just hit it off the end of the bat. Didn't hit it that well, but with his power, you could see where Smith had to go to get it.
Richie Hebner singled in the second inning. Hebner, of course, with playoff and World Series experience with the Pittsburgh Pirates. That could be trouble. Base hit. Lazinski to third. Smith having trouble in the corner. It'll be a double for Hebner. And listen to Philadelphia.
Before, kind of a surprise, but evidently Danny Ozark certainly knew what he was doing. As you watch Reggie Smith play it off the wall, came right back to him, got it back into Davey Lopes very quickly, and now the Phillies threaten here.
Oh, Hebner, a late addition to the lineup for Philadelphia, has 2 hits with no one out. Philadelphia has the tying run at second. Gary Maddox single to center, his first time up. Low. Maddox, many feared, would not play at all in this series after injuring himself in the final regular season game. He fouled one off his own kneecap. That's pretty hard to do. Maddox, with a widespread stance, got a pitch inside, hit it off his kneecap. He's had problems there before and had to sit out the first 2 games in Los Angeles. Returned, had a hit yesterday. In time.
Tommy John trying to nip that inside corner on Maddox as you look at Hebner at second base.
Lazinski at third. Billy DeMars helping him with his lead. Oh, a 2-0 pitch, but he didn't give him much to swing at.
Maddox kind of moving out over the plate and moving into the pitch and moving into the plate as you'd get a bird's eye view from our creepy camera up in deep left field. And Tommy John would like to work him inside if he can.
No one out. Runners hit second and third. 2-0 Dodgers. Last of the 4th. The 2-1 pitch. Oh, Maddox 3-1. He was swinging 2-0, so if he likes this one, he'll probably take a rip. 1 run will score. And Russell, boy, he needed a strong arm to get Maddox as Lazinski gives Philadelphia its first run. On the play, Hebner holds at second.
Billy Russell, a former outfielder and converted to an infielder, and he showed you a good arm there because a little treacherous out there, and even on a dry carpet, it's sometimes tough to get over set and throw as you could on dirt or on grass, whatever it might be. And Billy kind of tippy-toeing over, getting himself in position, and then he turned it loose.
Thus far, though it's been raining for a couple of hours in Philadelphia, Don, we can safely say there has not been a play affected by the rain.
No, it has not.
Tim McCarver with a tying run at second. 1 out, 2-1, Los Angeles. McCarver struck out his first time. I love McCarver's line about catching Carlton. All of his games are old buddies, hunting and fishing buddies. He said, when we die, they'll probably bury us 60 feet 6 inches apart.
Jimmy's done a good job for the Phillies.
1-1. John got Maddox out on a 3-1 pitch.
nasty pitch to a left-hander. You see McCarver falling away anyway and trying to protect from that inside sinker that John struck him out on the first time. This time John just spins it away from him.
2-2. Ted Sizemore, an ex-Dodger, is on deck. That's the same pitch that got him back in the second inning. For John, his 4th strikeout, and he saved the strikeout for the tough spots. Remember, he struck out Carlton with the bases loaded in the second. And Tom Lasorda going to the mound, probably going to ask John, do you want to pitch to Sizemore or put him on and take your chances on Carlton again? Guys to work that game against the guys like Sizemore, because unlike the big swingers, they're liable to hurt you with a bad pitch.
Teddy Sizemore right here, and you see the first pitch down and away, and you've got to figure that Tommy John is going to keep it out there as they bunch him a little bit to the right side. Center fielder Burke slightly over in right center. And if he misses out there, that's ball 2. He'll just stay out there, and it'd be very surprising to me to see Burke in right center, Lopes back deep at second base with Garvey a little bit off the line at first, Smith not very deep in right field. Surprise me, I'd fall out of the booth if he comes inside.
Ebner, the tying run at second, 2 outs in the 4th. Now they'll probably put him on. Now they'll go through the formality of throwing another one out there. There's a right-hander throwing in the bullpen for Philadelphia.
Well, a lot of people have said, trying to talk about speeding up the game of baseball. Why don't they just put him on right here? Well, there's still the situation is Teddy Sizemore walks. You might throw a wild pitch to move the guy to third. You might throw another one. He might score. You never know. Or you might have Sizemore lean out over the plate and hit a little dunker down the right field line. So that's part of it. Those ideas, I don't think they're going to get too far.
Well, Carlton, for the second time tonight, has a chance to help himself. Not too bad with a stick against the Dodgers. And then was 2-2 in the first game on Tuesday night in Los Angeles. Struck out, bases loaded, first time up. Ebner and Sizemore aboard, 2 outs. 2-1 Dodgers. Here's that John is saving that real big hook for Carlton. Oh, trying to bunt his way on. 1-2.
That wasn't a bad play because Ron Say is back at third. He gets that ball down that third baseline. Say isn't going to throw him out with a shotgun.
Say comes up a little bit now, but the count is 1-2. So John strikes out Carlton for the second time with men aboard, but the Phillies do get back on the board with 1. And after 4 in Philadelphia, the Dodgers 2, the Phils 1. Lead 2-1 as we go to the 5th inning.
Well, that's very true. And right now they've got their big man up there, Dusty Baker, Dick. It'll be Baker, Burke, and Yeager in that order as we go to the Dodger 5th. Baker throw that curveball at him. Hook him this time for a while. The count, a ball and a strike. It was Baker's home run in the second inning to give the Dodgers the 2-0 lead at the time. Carlton fell behind him then. He has fallen behind him now, 2-1. 3-1. And he walks him. And the Dodgers have their leadoff man aboard here in the 5th inning. That is walk number 3 for Carlton. And we'll bring up Burke. He bounced to the third baseman Schmidt his first time at bat. And Tommy Lasorda going to play for another run.
Well, down a pressure game, and we're starting to get into some pressure innings in a 2-1 ball game.
And not only getting into some pressure innings in the middle innings, but because of the elements. And he turns around and gives him the green light. There's the first little gathering of water that we've seen here at the vet. You'll see it along the sidelines, along the warning track. On the field, it's damp, but there's no water. There's no puddles, as right there. Got him looking. That is just a second strikeout for Carlton, but it got him in a great place. Well, the Phillies have decided to counter maybe Mr. Tom Lasorda. That is great Dodger in the sky, you might say.
When Lasorda made that comment after the 3-run ninth inning yesterday, then Danny Ozark said, hey, I go to church too.
I know. Here's Yeager, and they will keep the runner at first base, Dusty Baker, close. Well, they were having a ball, weren't they? Got the umbrella out, and they're rooting for their Phillies.
Well, it'll be a heavenly night for Philadelphia if they can force it to Game 5.
0-1 to Yeager. He has 2 hits in 10 trips in this playoff series. See Steve kind of trying to keep the barrel of that bat dry. Shake him around in the Dodger dugout. 0-2 the count. There's one gone in the Dodger 5th inning, and they lead it 2-1. The Yankees have won. They will go to Game 5 with Kansas City. Count remains 0-2 to Yeager. Well, watching that game this afternoon, Dick, what a job Sparky Lyle did. Unbelievable.
Talk about pressure. He knew he was in there till the end of the game.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
We ran into Catfish Hunter in the parking lot as we left Yankee Stadium after Game 2, and he indicated he'd be ready for Game 5, but word is that Billy Martin will go with a left-hander Guidry tomorrow.
Yeager staying off of that high fastball, evens the count at 2-2.
But wouldn't that be something if the Catfish, who has won so many big playoff and World Series games, got an unusual call tomorrow?
It will be Kansas City in staff, the Yankees in staff. That's when you get to the point to say there's no need to worry about a tired arm. You've got all winter to rest it up. There's that curveball, not following down through and leaving it up high. And we played a game in St. Louis that, boy, it rained, and it was unbelievable. Remember, I forget who it was going into second base. I think it was Bobby Lillis. Slid into second base. He started his slide naturally. He ended up on the edge of the outfield grass. Just slid right by the bag and just, you know, grabbed the coupon and keep on going. But they played it. They got it in. Ron Cey tonight has walked and scored and hit into a double play. You see the absorbent compound that they have moved around the batter's box and on the mound. Two balls and no strike.
How long does that help?
Well, it depends on how hard it rains. 2 balls and a strike. If you're into a heavy downpour and you're still playing, well, you're going to be moving out there about every half inning, maybe every inning. But it has just been a steady rain all night long.
Don, I'm sure that President Chub Feeney is receiving reports on the weather and how long it will take before this front moves through. I would think that if they thought it would stop raining in an hour, they might stop play. But perhaps this is an all-nighter, and there's no way that they're going to avoid the precipitation.
And Ron Cey draws a 5th base on balls off of Steve Carlton tonight. That'll bring up Steve Garvey. Garvey is flying to center. He's bounced to third. And now, here comes Danny Ozark out. As we might have some action in the bullpen. We do have action in the bullpen. Ozark moving to the mound. And we could have a possible pitching change. We will have a pitching change as he'll go to the bullpen. Now, Steve Carlton is 23-game winner. He leaves, and he will get a round of applause regardless. There's Garvey's bunt, a throw by Boone to get him. A good play by the young catcher. He came out of there in a hurry, and he got Garvey on a good bunt, and he had some good backspin as Cey moves to second.
Well, that's a heady play. A new catcher, a new pitcher, and Garvey tests them immediately with a bunt on that wet carpet, and Boone equal to the task to gun down Garvey on the sacrifice.
Here's Dusty Baker. He put the Dodgers ahead to start with in the second inning with a home run to give him a 2-0 lead. He walked and scored in the 5th. He came all the way from second base on the wild pitch, ball 4. He takes a strike. That was to Davey Lopes. That was Ron Cey at second base. Here comes Teddy Sizemore in. He wants to talk to his big right-hander, Ron Reed, possibly just to get a little bit of the knowledge of what signs they might be using in case they might have changed from Carlton, as you see Reed going to that tongue depressor to get the dirt from around his spikes. High in the air, and it's playable. Mike Schmidt looking up into the night and the rain and squeezes it.
And perhaps a little added dramatic emphasis just for the umpires to know that it is tough to play tonight.
Well, they all know it's tough to play tonight, Dick, and everybody in the ballpark knows it's tough to play, and you've got to feel for Chub Feeney down that first baseline, and you sit back and say, gee, isn't that great to be a league president or maybe the commissioner when you come to the World Series and get into a situation like this, and all of a sudden you've got to make the decision. You say play or don't play. Chub Feeney has said play, and play they will. This is Glenn Burke taking a strike, and the count is 0-1. 2 gone in the Dodgers' 6th inning. They lead it 4-1. The attendance tonight, 64,924.
Largest crowd in Pennsylvania history, and the largest ever to see a league championship game. Boy, on a rainy night, is that a tribute to the fans of Philadelphia?
They got some great baseball fans. We said that in New York. Good slider by Reed.
Well, Don, there's an unwritten rule, and as a ball player yourself, it comes as really no surprise to either dugout. When you get into a night or in a situation like this, they really knew they were going to play once they started.
Oh, once they started, sure you know it. One ball and 2 strikes. A lot of times in the course of a year, you'll get a ball club that might be failing a little bit at the gate, and they have a promotion or something like that, and they'll say, well, you know, let's at least try and get in 5. Let's do something. Let's get an official game out of it so we don't lose the gate. But you are certainly not hurting there. You can look at that number, 64,924 here tonight.
That's about 5,000 plus standing room.
They are high atop Veterans Stadium. This huge oval. There's a dry spot.
But a hot one. That's Mr. Feeney's position, I believe.
Fooled him badly on the slow curve, and the Dodgers are gone in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and they leave 1. As we go to the Philadelphia 7th, it's the Dodgers 4 and the Phillies 1 in the 6th inning.
Put out for Los Angeles tonight.
Well, that's what we said at the offset, Dick. If he's going to have his stuff, that will dictate the whole evening for Tommy John. It'll be the ground balls, and as you say, he has been absolutely magnificent tonight.
Bob Boone batting for the first time. He has been the best hitter against Dodger pitching this year. There you see it. Ball 2. Danny Ozark. That's a long conversation from Ozark. Nipped the edge, and it's 2-1 to Boone. Ball 3. Recall Bob's dad, Ray Boone, former great infielder with the Tigers, a real money hitter, also wore number 8. He's following in his dad's footsteps there. John, defying him, says, all right, you want to walk? Try this one. That makes it 3-2. And now Boone, who might have been taking, gets a base hit. The 4th inning. And that'll get something going down in the Dodger bullpen. That's the left field corner. Mike Garman, who saved the win yesterday in the 9th inning, is the right-hander. And Lance Watson, the left-hander. Just missed inside to Bake McBride. Now Steve Garvey not holding Boone on at first base with the lead, and also with the circumstances around that bag. He is back right at the edge of the carpet to where he can move to his right in a hurry with a left-hand hitter McBride at the plate. There's the sinker. That's the pitch that Don had demonstrated for you. Boone at first, 4 for 9 now in the series, and Garvey playing behind him.
Just missed him. Whoa, what a play.
Steve Yeager with that quick snap throw, and Yeager perhaps does that as well as any catcher in the big leagues.
Here's Garvey, as we said, playing behind, and now Boone with a little feint and a quick snap throw right there. And Boone just does get back under the tag. Garvey trying to go down with that knee to slightly block him, but his arm was there.
Here to get him up on the shoulder, as Boone would have said, we'll drum you right out of the catcher's score, Mr. Yeager. You pull that on me.
Well, a truly fine umpire at first base, Dutch Brenner, making the call. He was right there, and he was right on top of that play.
Terry Wendelstad was behind the plate last night, as you see Garman and Rotson warming up in the Dodger bullpen. Windelstad, a veteran of many tough times in the National League, said that was the toughest game he's ever had to call or work. So many close, important plays. And the umpires doing their usual fine job. 1-2 to McBride. The Phils need another base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. Last of the 7th inning, 1 out.
Well, a lot of people that maybe have just tuned us in, they're saying, how in the world can they be playing in that kind of weather? Well, we started in this weather. You see the top of the batting helmet of McBride, water dripping off the bill.
Check to swing, and the call is no swing by the third base umpire, Paul Pryor. He made that very difficult call down the left field line on Lazinski's possible catch yesterday.
Here you see McBride holding up just in time. That curveball bending around the inside. And Yeager pointing to appeal, but to no avail.
But McBride is out anyway as the sinker gets him, and Johns had a big strikeout night. 7 for him. Larry Boa, the hitter, with 2 outs. Boa up 3 times, grounded out 3 times. That Dodger infield has been perfect in support of John, and they've had plenty of chances. Say with 5 assists, Russell with 4, Lopes with 2. Foul tip catching Boa.
Steve Garvey trying to hold him up.
Well, another World Series coming. You know, our director tonight, Harry Coyle, has worked every World Series game ever played. And his crew tonight in the rain, oh, they just don't miss a punch. We've seen every important play from every possible angle. And now the guys out in the bad weather, not very comfortable for them, but they bear down and give you their best shot, their best focus.
Well, Larry Boa trying to bear down and get back in there and get himself up again. But, you know, you talk about Harry Coyle, there's a record right there. There's some of the fine cameramen here with the NBC crew. A lot of people think, boy, would I love to be a cameraman. And I bet you they could write 8 volumes of bad weather stories.
When it's all over, they got to break those things down and lug them away, too.
That's right. You know, there's a record that'll never stand and never be broken, I believe.
That's right. What man has seen every World Series game played, worked at them all.
Right now, it's the Phils and Dodgers trying to get there. Lopes in the right place to get the force. Ball was hit off the end of the bat. That's it for the Phils in the 7th. 2 innings left in Philadelphia. The Dodgers 4, the Phillies 1. World Series, I know who he's pulling for, the Yankees, because that was his dream, to pitch in the World Series against the Yankees in New York. Reggie Smith, one of the many Dodgers to have a big year, and there were so many of those stories for Los Angeles.
Well, he was one of the 4 that set that all-time Major League record with 4 30 or more home run men on a ball club.
Reggie finished with 32.
He had 32. Steve Garvey had 33. Dusty Baker and Ron Say each with 30 apiece.
Two and 2. Well, that sanguine manager of the Dodgers, he was a piece of work again on our little rain delay at the start, Tom Lasorda. You can imagine what it'll be like if the Dodgers win it in that clubhouse behind third base.
Well, he'll have the writers going through 3 pads of notes trying to keep up with his verbiage.
Quiet now. Just missed with a screwball, and McGraw now runs the count full.
I had a chance to play with Tommy at Montreal in 1955 when he came down from Brooklyn.
Foul.
He still refers to himself as the Warren Spahn of the International League.
You know, he's set and still holds the all-time International League record for most wins, and it probably will hold for all time. He won 125 for Montreal.
And with the way players are accelerated up to the big leagues now, if they have talent, it's unlikely anyone's going to beat that mark. Smith leads off the 8th with a walk. First walk allowed by McGraw. Lasorda grew up in nearby Norristown, Pennsylvania. Signed by the Phillies, but spent most of his life professional baseball in the Dodger organization. Waited patiently and finally got a chance to be the skipper of what he calls the Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
That's what they call them, the Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
Ron Cey, 2 walks and a double play off the bat of Cey tonight. Infield set for 2. Runner goes. And Boone on that wet baseball can't make a throw, and Smith has the first steal of the game. Reggie Smith, very talented all-around athlete.
Well, there's a tough slide at second base as we look at again on that damp dirt. There's the first bag that they have not put any of that sorbent compound around, and as Smith slides, he just stuck. And we'll look at it again. He jammed that knee, and now down to look at it, you see that leg getting caught under, and he really doesn't go too far. He's got to reach out with that hand.
I would guess, Don, if you took all of, they call him Superstar, the Dodgers, his nickname. If you were to get all of the Major League Baseball players together, he might be the best acrobat gymnast of them all. I mean, he can do round-offs, full somersaults in the air, that sort of thing. But
kind of like you and rain delays, right?
Oh, I just thinking about that popular song of a few years ago. Raindrops keep falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for the bed, nothing seems to fit. And for the Phillies, that poetry seems all too appropriate tonight. Cey trying to add to the Dodger lead. Good stop by Boone.
Well, the crowd once again very quiet here at Veterans Stadium. It's a damp crowd, to say the least, but the rain right now letting up just a little bit.
Yeah, tell that to the guy in section 33. No one out. Smith at second. And the count levels at 2-2. It's interesting, Don, that Lasorda, well, we'll wait till after this pitch. It's a 2-2 coming up from McGraw. And that's Tugg's second strikeout. 1 out, Garvey the hitter. That Lasorda actually had a cup of coffee and, well, as they say when you're up briefly, a cup of coffee, no cream, no sugar, 3 different years. He was up twice with the Dodgers, had no record. His major league record as a left-handed pitcher, no wins, 4 losses. And it came at Kansas City with the old A's. And he might just be heading that way. It'll be either Kansas City or the Yankees. And that will be decided tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. It rains harder as they walk Garvey intentionally. How to win yourself a beverage on that piece of trivia.
That's right. And who do you think his manager might have been at Kansas City?
Ooh, that's good. Former Cleveland infielder?
That's right. Remember we talked about the ballerina lessons and learning how to make that pivot around the bag at second base the other night?
Lou Boudreau, one of the voices of the Cubs, a team that the Phillies had to take quite a rugged run at and finally overcome. And that Chicago baseball story this year, certainly a very exciting and pleasant one on both sides, Wrigley and at Comiskey Park. Baker the batter, 2 on, 1 out. Baker, he has to be in the running for the MVP of this series. 8 RBIs, a new National League playoff record, a grand slam home run. 2 RBIs yesterday, knocked in 2 more with his home run tonight. He scored twice. Bills can ill afford more Dodger runs. 4-1. That one hit foul. Smith at second. Garvey at first. 1 out. 8th inning. And Tug McGraw, the third Philadelphia pitcher, trying to come up with a ground ball and get himself a double play and out of the inning. Shallow to right, a tough play. McBride outrunning that one. Boy, that tested that sore knee as Bake had to really sprint hard to catch up with it.
Well, he got a good jump on the ball. The ball hung for him. And with his great speed, able to come on and make the catch relatively easily.
2 outs to Glenn Burke, or will they use a pinch hitter? No, Burke will bat for himself. Young man is grounded out and struck out twice. Is 0 for 6 in the series. In the bottom of the 8th inning, the Phils, as we sneak a look ahead, have Schmidt, Lazinski, and Hebner scheduled. Now, you're Tommy John, Don, and you're sitting in the dugout knowing you're going to have to face those 3 men next. You've got to be thinking that if you can get through that heavy part of the lineup, you might be in good shape.
That's exactly right. That's when you got to go out. This is an awful big inning coming up for Tommy John.
Screwball has Burke way out in front. 0-2 the count. Out of the 8th inning, striking out Burke. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Look at McGraw. He's going to get him going. Hey, I've got to like him for that. We go to the 8th inning, 4-1 Dodgers.
Now, a natural and synthetic motor oil, Pennzoil PZL, protects for double the miles. Double the miles of the longest oil change recommendation by car manufacturers. Today's tough driving conditions can cause motor oil to lose its ability to protect sooner than you may expect. You could be driving your oil too far, and that's why you need Pennzoil PZL. Protects for double the miles.
We're the Van Arsdales, Tom and Dick. We're identical twins, and we drink identical beers. Light beer from Miller. We love it. The best thing about light beer is it's less filling. Great taste. Less filling. It's got 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. Great taste, Tom. Less filling. And I'm not Tom. You are. I'm Dick. You think you are, but you never were.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Inside this new Firestone radial tire is an improved steel cord with 5 million miles of developmental testing. Where once we used 5 strands, we now use 10 strands of steel. 7 around 2, wrapped by 1. A cord construction so important, Firestone named the tire for it. 7, 2, 1. The new steel-belted radial 721. Now, from Firestone.
Of the 8th inning, you saw Tug McGraw sprint off the field, encouraging his teammates and this crowd. Let's get going. 6 outs away from victory. Tommy John.
Here he is. There's a left-hander from Southern California. He wants something to happen. Going back in that dugout and saying, let's go, guys. We're only down 3. We've been down before 3, and maybe more has come back.
And Phillies firepower ready in the 8th inning to test John, who still has not allowed a fly ball out. Schmidt, one of the keys to the Dodgers' success thus far, they've been able to shackle Schmidt. He's 1 for 16. John 5-7 lifetime against the Phils. We want to hit the champ. Ball 2. The Dodger bullpen is busy. Garman and Rotson. Garman, the right-hander. Rotson got the win yesterday. Schmidt taking all the way, gets ball 3. In the darkness of the Philly dugout, Danny Ozark, and he has Schmidt taking. The Phillies need base runners.
That's exactly right. They need men on those sacks somewhere. They're down 3. The Dodgers 4 and the Phillies 1.
Wasn't that high? He might have hurt himself by standing tall. That pitch was a borderliner. Schmidt was taking 2-0. Ball 4. Only the second walk allowed by John. The Dodgers have taken advantage of 2 innings where their leadoff man walked. In the second, then Baker homered for 2 runs. In the 5th, Baker walked to lead off the inning, and the Dodgers scored 2. And now the Phillies get a leadoff man free ticket.
As Luzinski comes to the plate, Tommy Lasorda going to keep a good eye on Tommy John, because a very definite sign of a sinker ball pitcher when he starts to tire, that sinker starts to rise, and he threw 2 of them right there. 1 for a strike, then he walked him on 1.
Luzinski pops it high into the rain. Burke and Smith, the right fielder Smith, has the first out of the inning.
Oh, was that ball hit high. Yeager just about snapped a neck muscle on this one. He might have thought it was up in the air, and there it is. He said, yes, sir, baby. It is playable. Go get him leather.
And when Luzinski hits it, and he got all the wood on it, he just got under it a bit too much. I wonder if Yeager might have thought at first, will that thing come down in the field of play?
Well, you hope on those type of fly balls, you just say to yourself, man, if that comes down, I hope it's an out.
Richie Hebner, the only Phil with 2 hits tonight. He singled in the second, his double in the 4th, set up the only Philadelphia score.
That is the first fly ball out for the Dodgers tonight, Dick.
But if you're a Philadelphia fan, the fact that John walks Schmidt and then gives up a fly ball out, and some of the fans fall into a puddle there in right field trying to get that souvenir.
They both rolled over the tarp, and they fell right into that puddle.
Get the feeling they really didn't mind.
No, not now. Not when you're this wet.
The count, 2 strikes on Hebner.
And you know something? It has stopped raining.
For the first time, a light, just a light.
Just very light, right. Yeah, just very light.
But this is the best it's been since the game started. Is that an omen? Ooh, foul tip off the neat hand of Yeager. That could be an omen. Suddenly, the heavy rains that have plagued this game have subsided. And this is the lightest drizzle since the game started. Just enough to ripple the water occasionally. That's the center field warning track. Schmidt at first base. 1 out. And 1 and 2 coming up to Hebner. Too low.
The Dodgers, after tonight's game, they will not go anywhere. They will stay right here and wait the outcome of tomorrow's game with the New York Yankees and the Kansas City Royals, and that'll be right here on NBC, 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
The Phillies hope the Dodgers will have to go to work, go to the office tomorrow, and that would be at 5 o'clock Eastern Time.
Joe Garciola, Tony Kubek probably sitting back with their feet up, watching this one tonight. Boy, that was a good ball game today.
Well, the way those 2 teams are going after each other aggressively, what's going to happen tomorrow night? Hit to right and hit well. Smith going back has a play. That ball dying near the track, and there's 2 away.
You get a damp night like tonight, Dick, when you get the heavy rains and you get the dampness out, and you're not going to get the ball to carry as well as it would just on an ordinary day. And here at Veterans Stadium. This is definitely a hitter's ballpark, and especially in the summertime, they jump out of here. Reminds you a lot of Atlanta Stadium down in Georgia, the home of the Braves, and that ball just rockets out of there, and they fly out of here. You look out deep in left field, high above straightaway left, and you see up there the big bull ring. Whoops, Maddox going after a bad ball. And of course, they say that Greg Luzinski, he reaches those seats every now and then up above. See, right to the right of your screen, to the right of the clock where it says the bull ring. And he will reach the big red up there. And when you go up that deep, you have hit it. There it is. That's also, I believe, the spot to where he bought so many tickets for the youngsters here in Philadelphia. Yeah, you hit them up there. They ricochet off about 8 seats before the ball finally settles. Right now it's Gary Maddox trying to keep this inning alive. 2 outs in the 8th inning. 4-1 Dodgers. John figuring you went after a bad one inside. Maybe you'll chase this one low and away. A little low. Now that's a pitch that the Philadelphia hitters have been going after all night long. You've got to try and lay off of that pitch when you're against a sinker ball pitcher, especially like Tommy John. And if you don't, you're going to hit those grounders all night long, and that's exactly what Philly has done tonight. The count is 3-1 to Maddox. If Maddox reaches base safely, the tying run will come to the plate here in the Philadelphia 8th inning. On deck is the pitcher's spot, and Jerry Martin is in the on-deck circle. Big 3-1 pitch. On the corner. Three and 2. Schmidt will have a running start. Foul ball fielded by Tony Taylor, one of the all-time favorites here in Philadelphia. As you look at Mike Schmidt going back to first base, it just kind of sticks out in the back of your mind what we said at the offset. Mike Schmidt was quoted as saying that if we can't beat Tommy John at home, we don't deserve to be in the series. Tough play for Say. Safe. Maddox beats out a Baltimore chop to third. And the tying run will come to the plate in the form of pinch hitter Jerry Martin. First time that the Phils have had 2 base runners since their scoring inning, the 4th. And now the rains come back. Martin is 0 for 3 in the series. Here's that last play. That great speed of Maddox, and Ron Say had to come in, kind of baby the hop, baby himself because of that slick turf. And Maddox didn't have to baby anything. He was flying down that line. On the corner. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is KGW-TV, Channel 8, Portland.
Martin is not a home run hitter. He hit 6 this year. And Say has the play right there at third. The inning is over as John throws another ground ball. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left, 1 inning remaining. It's 4-1 Dodgers.
I'm spending Wednesday night at the in-laws, but I'm not missing Wednesday night at the movies.
I'm studying for a Tuesday morning exam, but I'm not missing Monday Night Football.
I'm working the late shift, but I'm not missing the late show.
Thanks to Sony's revolutionary Betamax deck, which hooks up to any TV set, now you can automatically videotape your favorite show even when you're not home and watch it anytime you want.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm going home to watch the late show.
Hey, the Holiday Inn.
All right,
You're about to be welcomed to one of the best hotels in the world. The hotels with the best locations.
want to be near. The hotels with the best system of standards for comfort and taking care of you. The hotels that take care of more travelers than anybody else. Holiday Inn welcomes you to some of the best hotels in the world.
Enjoy World Series drama with your official 1977 World Series program, the same one sold at the ballpark. This 80-page program is a sure collector's item with color features on the 4 divisional winners, plus stories on past World Series. Look for the program at select newsstands or order your copy by sending check or money order for $2.50 to World Series Program, Box 666, San Francisco, California, 94101.
Preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball. And the 5th and final game of the American League Championship Series tomorrow night from Royal Stadium in Kansas City. Ron Guidry or Catfish Hunter for the Yankees against the Kansas City Royals. And for Kansas City, he'll come back Whitey Herzog.
Paul Splittorff will be on the mound.
Left-hander who beat the Yankees in Game 1.
Well, you know, Dick, a lot of people, and I'm sure they're going to read about it across the country, and especially here in Philadelphia, playing the game under these conditions. But conditions as they may be, as it first started out, they will equal both sides. So you really can't say too much. You'd like to play them under better conditions, but I'll tell you, probably one of the toughest jobs that National League President Chub Feeney had to do was make the decision to play this game tonight. He certainly didn't want to do it, but you run into a time problem and logistics problem with the 2 ball clubs here going to wherever they might go with the World Series starting on Tuesday. And as you said before, he's trying to give everybody an equal shot.
Gene Garber comes in. He was the man victimized in the 9th inning yesterday, the top relief pitcher for the Phils this season. Garber came in the 7th inning, retired the side in order. The 8th inning, 1-2-3, first 2 men in the 9th. And then when the Phillies seemed to have Game 3 won, the old men took over. Davalillo and Mota. And before it was over, the Dodgers with a comeback 6-5 victory. Yeager 1 for 3 tonight. Sandwiched a single between a couple of strikeouts. Danny Ozark's bullpen has checked the Dodgers, who scored their 4 runs off the starter Steve Carlton. Hit to right center. Gary Maddox has the first out. And Tommy John comes up, a single and 3 trips. And it'll be tough for the Philly fans to applaud him. Now listen to that. You like to hear that. There's some that are acknowledging his effort tonight.
Well, they realize that he gets a good round of applause here at Veterans Stadium. They appreciate talent, and Tommy John has thrown it right out there on the line tonight.
Well, Don, I know you went through a serious injury, and you knew that it was all over. Of course, it happened a little later in your career. Now, Tommy John was over 30 when he got the news that a rare rupture of the tendon in your pitching elbow, and you just better forget it, young man. Think of something else to do. And here he is, 3 outs away from completing the most important victory in his baseball life. He's been the stopper all season long. The Dodgers' longest losing streaks were 4. It happened twice. John stopped both many losing streaks, not with his bat, but with that now healthy left elbow.
I got to see Tommy this winter and ask him about his batting style. Looks like he took a chapter out of the Bob Buell school of hitting.
With a minor from Dean Chance.
But Tommy, you know, that's really true, Dickie. What a display of courage that he put on to come back. He was out the whole 1975 season, just 10-10 last year.
Lopes 0 for 2, 2 line drive outs. And a couple of walks.
This year at the age of 34, 20 games, first time ever against 7 losses.
In the bottom of the 9th inning, Philadelphia has Sizemore, Boone, and McBride scheduled. And the Dodgers, who are not in the dugout, are ready to celebrate. 1-2 on Davy Lopes.
You can bet your bottom dollar that in that Philadelphia 9th, They will root on every pitch like they've never rooted before.
Crowd of just under 65,000. It missed by only 76 of 65,000 on a terrible night in Philadelphia. Cold, rain throughout the course of play. But these Philly fans have stuck with their club right to the ninth. Some have left now, but the majority are still packed in under the roofs.